a 6-year-old nephew who's in 1st grade, my sister's son. His name is Grant. And she asked me a couple of months ago if I would pick him up if I was home, if I could pick him up at school. So I loved it. You know, I got in the car and I went over to the school and I picked up Grant, and he comes running out of the school with his backpack on. You know, they kind of run like this these days, you know, because they have so much in their backpacks. And he gets into the minivan and gets in the back seat, straps himself in. And I said to him, Grant, how was your day? He said, not very well, Auntie Shar. I said, oh, what happened? He said, my teacher hates me. Oh, that's what I did. Oh, Grant, I said, I'm sure she doesn't hate you. Yes, she hates me, he said. And I told her so today. I said, you did what? He said, yeah. He said, I told her so. I said, you hate me. I said, oh my, what did your teacher say? And she said, I don't hate you, Grant, I like you. No, you don't. You hate me. No, Grant, I like you. I really do. No, you don't. You hate me. Grant, I like you. And my nephew said, well, then tell your face. Ooh. Nonverbal communication, 50 what? 5%. Think about it. And you and I are no different than a 6-year-old. We watch somebody's face. And what does it tell us? What does our face tell other people? Let me tell you the rest of the story. I drive home, drop Grant off. My sister was home by that time. Grant walks in the door, and as 6th graders do, they're so honest, tells her what he did. My sister was aghast. Her firstborn kid did this. She was so embarrassed. So she says to him, you, that's so rude, that's disrespectful. You're going to have to write a note of apology to that teacher. Okay, Mom. So she was in the process of doing it. My sister calls the teacher. The teacher actually answered. Whew. And my sister said, oh, I'm so embarrassed and I'm so sorry that Grant did that to you. That was so disrespectful, and you're going to receive a note of apology. This wonderful educator says, you know, Mrs. Schreiber, actually your son did me a favor today. My sister goes, really? Wow. She's my sister. Okay. Tell me more. She said, well, what happened is that my personal life has been very challenging this school year. And I thought I was camouflaging it very well, but apparently I wasn't. So Grant gave me a very good reminder to keep things in focused while I'm in the classroom. And I thought, wow. And my sister went, oh, thank you so much for sharing it. I really appreciate that, but you're still going to get the note from Grant. Okay. So I want you to think about that for just a moment. Because what does your face look like when you enter the workplace? How is it that you come in? Do you come in like this? Oh, that weather, that traffic, oh, it's really bad. And oh my God, I didn't sleep much last night. And you wouldn't have believed the storm. And that dog next door, oh gee. Okay, we come in like what? Like rain. And our faces reflect it. We come in sometimes dumping on other people our life and our issues. When in reality, maybe we could do something else, which Charwentz calls positive pollution in the workplace. I can leave my stuff at the door. And I can walk in and go, good morning, how are y'all? Good. Gee, isn't it amazing? It's like Irish mist out there today, isn't it? A little bit. Okay? You know, so what I'm doing is I'm polluting things positively instead of going like this. Ooh. How many seconds do you think you have to make a first impression? 30? Good. Another? Anybody? 3. When I first became aware of this research on first impressions, It was 90 seconds. Then it got down to 30. The last research of last year, in 2012, indicates we now have 7 seconds to make a first impression. Now, I want you to think about that for just a minute. 7. And that does not mean the first time somebody meets me. It might be the first time somebody sees me that day, or the first time they see me after lunch, or the first time they see me at a team meeting. What am I projecting? Whatever it is, my nonverbal is all over for broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. So what does my presence say has a lot to do with my communication skills in the workplace. Does that make sense to you? Okay, good. All right, here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to actually right now, I'm going to just wear you guys out. I'd like each of you, I could put some index cards on your tables, please. Would you take one of them? And what I need you to do is this particular one, we're going to do an activity that I wrote in one of my books called Forced Choices. And so on this particular activity, I need you to take an index card and divide it into 4 sections, please. Got it? Okay. And up in this section, you need to choose one thing. That's why it's called Forced Choices. Would you like to have chocolate or vanilla ice cream? Your choices are limited, so choose one, please. Write it down. Thank you. In this one, would you like to have a Coke or a 7-Up? Would you write one down, please? Good job. Over here, let's take a trip. Sounds like a good idea for June. Would you like to go to California or Florida? Would you write one down, please? Today is my father's birthday, and my father loved sports cars. And since he had no sons, guess who the daughters all became very fanatically about cars too. And so what I'd like you to think about, if you walked away from this building today, would you like to have keys to a Porsche or a Corvette? Would you write one down, please? Okay? Okay, now here's your job. I'm going to ask you to walk around this room and see how many people you can find who have made all 4 of the same choices you've made. You don't have to stay with them. So keep circulating and see how many people you can find who have made all 4 of the same choices. Go. Chocolate? Oh, how about, vanilla, no. How about yours? Oh, no. Okay, how about yours? Find anybody?
Actually, I like compare this to I like.
Okay, well then you go. Well, we've got 3 alike. That's right, yeah, exactly. Okay, let's stop. Don't go any further, please. I just want you to do this. Just stay right where you are. I love this.
Did we have you sign a release for Justin?
I could tell you stories. And falling off a chair is not one of them. Although I have fallen off a stage. Oh yeah. You know, kind of like Superman. Spread eagle on the floor. But you know, it's part of the dangers of being in this business. But here's what I'd like you to think about is that this is so fun because I do this activity all over the world. I do it in corporate America, medical schools, I do it with parents, I do it with educators, I do it with students, I do it with kids. I do it in senior citizen villages. It doesn't make any difference if I'm with Underwriters Laboratory or McDonald's or here at Loyola. We all act the same. Here you're going like this and you look at somebody's card and you go, no. Yeah? Or you go one of these, oh, almost. Or you go, we have 2 alike. You know, nah. And then all of a sudden you might find somebody. And you go like this, yeah! You know, or you high-five them. I've had some people hug each other and they didn't even know each other. You know, it's just amazing. Because this plays into something that every person has going for them. And that is our need to belong. It's our need to feel accepted and acceptable. Because I want you to think about something. Those of us who did not find anybody, did we quit looking? Absolutely not. What were you doing? Next person, right? Next person. You kept what? Of course you did. You kept looking. Why? It was the job. I was absolutely the job. But more importantly, you were also eager to see if you could find anybody. It's our need to belong. I love it when I've worked with probably about 8,000 kids in my profession over the years. And when I do a large seminar with children and I do this activity with them, it's a riot because I have kids who do this every single time. They cross it off and they change their choice. Now, you and I, we're adults, we're too sophisticated for that. But we certainly wish we had changed our choices sometimes. Because, bottom line, I say to kids, why, I notice that some kids change their choices. Why did they do that? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if they're 5 or 15. They all shoot up their hands, and you know what they say? I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be with them. It's our need to belong. It has everything to do with peer pressure. And also, our need to belong and be accepted and acceptable affects our behavior in the workplace. It does. Whether we think, oh, I'm very independent. I really don't care what anybody else thinks. Really? Do we all wear the same thing? Do I walk in there in my tiara and ball gown? No. I kind of look around and say, oh, what's everybody in this workplace wearing? You know? I kind of judge certain things like that. I kind of take it in. You know, you kind of watch. Starting a new job is very stressful. And that's why this has a lot to do with it. I can remember starting a new job the same day my son started freshman year of high school. And I came home and I said, oh my gosh, I don't know anybody's name. I couldn't find the bathroom. I had nobody to eat lunch with. He looked at me across the dining room table and he said, well, now you know how I felt today, Mom. Yeah, it's absolutely the truth. Because we have this huge need to find our place. Got it? And do not think that the most challenging people that you live or work with don't have the same need. You think in your head right now, oh, not that one, not that person. But it's the truth. They have the same need. And those who are really ornery are often people who have felt over life not accepted or acceptable. But you will never know it. Because they will camouflage it beautifully. Okay, I wiped off your chair. Thank you. You can tell as I'm working with you these several hours together that what I'm doing is weaving a tapestry that allows us to build better relationships in the workplace and better capacity to connect with people and therefore communicate more effectively. Because the more you and I understand the behavior of other people and become more aware of ourselves and others, the better our strengths are going to play to how to relate to them, how to understand them, and therefore how to communicate with them better. It's part of my clearing the vision. And as we move on today, I'm going to teach you such things as why people behave the way they do, and how you and I can understand them and deal with it more effectively. We're going to work with conflict in the workplace and how to speak and communicate through it more productively. But I'm laying the groundwork today, right now, for you to get the foundation. Respect, our need to belong, what is entitled, what percentile is in communication, how on earth we do communicate effectively, What is the nonverbal? Tell our faces. These are all aspects that I'm weaving because getting you to the next step. Okay, nothing here stands alone. All right? So here comes the next part. And that's this, is that communication has 3 levels to it. The first level of communication is all about me. The focus is on me. Come on, you know these people. You start a conversation with them, you start talking about skiing, and they tear it right from you, and they start talking about their ski trip. And there you are left what? Empty, because it's all about them. These are people who walk into the office or into a party or into a work area and they go, here I am! Because it's all about whom? Them. First level of communication. Let me move you to the next level of communication. This is level 2, and this is when the focus is on the other person. Other person. So this is the person that walks into an office area or into the workplace or into a party, and they go, there you are! There you are! Got it? It's all about the other person. I tried to model that for you as you walked in this room and I went to whom? You. My focus was on who? You. Make sense? And that is part of the level 2 of communication. The next one is, the third level is challenging, because it's all about communication about the other person and the rest of space around you. This is very valuable. Let me explain that a little bit more, okay? Part of what I do is I'm an educational and business consultant, and I was doing a consultation in an educational setting with this teacher, educator, and parent of a child. And we were talking, I was brought in to kind of be able to communicate it more effectively. And what happened is the mother brought along her little child with her. And of course, no playthings to keep this child busy at age 4. So I'm looking, the teacher starts communicating all the business she's got to communicate, all her facts that she's got to communicate, and she's communicating to the parent, and all of a sudden, and I'm listening, and all of a sudden I see this little kid going, you know, and the mother's focus goes right to who? The child, of course. So Shar, the educator, gets out some paper and some crayons, and I say to this 4-year-old, you know what? I would love it. May I ask you to do something? May I ask you to draw everybody's picture in this room and make us look really weird? Okay. And the more details you could give us, the more weirdness per picture, the better. Right? Okay. Really weird, right? So what did I do? I took my focus, right, from the other person to the rest of space, and that was this little kid. And you and I in the workplace, sometimes we do that automatically. But we don't have a label for it. The other person and the rest of space. You function on level 3 quite effectively. But it's very, very valuable to know that's what you're doing. Because bottom line is, the fact of it is that greatly, greatly changes how we communicate.